Okay, so I think this will be an interesting contrast to Charles, who is leading a very robust and well-established library publishing program. George Mason's is relatively new and very recently expanding. So over the past decade or so, the library had been involved in some publishing activities. They had a copyright office, a digital repository, some data services, and a few open access journals. There was a George Mason University Press that had been run as a kind of part-time hobby by a dean in the College of Humanities, who obviously had a different job besides being publisher. He was retiring, so he gave that up, and that became part of the library. And I started there in September 2014 to bring the publishing program a little bit more professionalism and make it a bigger part of the library. And I think this is a trend I've seen in a lot of libraries. So overall, this broadens the library's involvement in a lot of things that has already been involved in the research cycle, like I said, with ETDs and scholarly communications. So basically focused on creating, disseminating, and curating scholarly works, creative works, educational works, and as Sarah said, providing a platform for things that don't really fit elsewhere, and providing an alternative to commercial publishers for faculty, not just Mason faculty, but other people at other institutions as well. And we're trying to leverage kind of low-cost, open source, or cheap digital workflows to make publishing viable without a huge budget. So this just shows organizationally how it fits in with the library. It's part of the Digital Programs and Services Division, which is one of 3 divisions at the Mason Library. And so you can see it's a small staff, but bigger than her 1.4, I think you mentioned. And I should mention that 2, besides my position, which started in September, 2 others are brand new positions. The digital publishing lead and the digital content designer are brand new. So it's really ramped up, but this is where it's going to be for a little while at least. And this just kind of gives it a different view organizationally in terms of functional capacity. And so everybody has different roles. We're, as I said, rolling out the University Press, kind of starting it from scratch, although there was a previous iteration of it. We're doing peer-reviewed works, maybe eventually e-textbooks, although not right now, and e-books. And digital publishing, the repository, conference proceedings, e-journals, things like that. So there's kind of 2 imprints within this publishing group. The University Press is more formal, peer-reviewed, typical university press. It would be rigorous works of distinction, but aligned with Mason's mission and Mason's strengths. And then the Mason Publishing Group, less formal, not peer-reviewed necessarily, although they could be, and kind of helping anybody to publish whatever they want to publish as long as it's not objectionable material. But so, for example, a community group that wants to publish something will help them do that, or student publications, things like that. And really not focused on heavy marketing, but more focused on discovery. Although, again, if a student organization wanted to market their materials, we could give them some advice on that. And this is just a kind of another view of that, showing the spectrum from kind of thesis and dissertations through conference proceedings, through books, and eventually possibly other products like apps and APIs. Talk just briefly about our strategic priorities. As I said, try to align the press with the university's missions and strengths. So, if publishing things that Mason is strong in, digital research, public policy, international affairs, things like that. And I think most university presses are like this, but university presses that have been around for many years may publish things that the university doesn't necessarily specialize in. So I'm trying to build this from the ground up based on what Mason's strong in. And hope to do, at least at the beginning, 5 books per year, focused on regional issues, international affairs, and really try to integrate digital from the ground up. So although, still planning to do print things, but think digitally from the beginning. So I have, for example, one book right now in peer review that has some digital possibilities. We're thinking about these from the very beginning, not as an afterthought. Another thing that Sarah mentioned, which is important to me at Mason, is to really be a resource in the university, giving workshops, helping faculty, helping students with cover letters for journals, talking about digital publishing to grad students, things like that. And it really does advance knowledge and skills that are important to grad students and undergraduates. So we're doing right now 4 open access journals, and we just signed 2 new ones that will be coming out soon. So they're diverse. Some of these are student-run journals, and some are faculty-led journals. We are going to be doing conference proceedings. This is an annual conference, Innovations in Teaching and Learning conference that they put on every year, and they had not been publishing anything associated with the conference, so I came to them and said, why not publish papers or publish the abstracts? And so we'll be doing that this year and trying to go back. They had the repository for a long time, Mars, and pretty much is mostly ETDs, thesis and dissertation. So we're trying to get more faculty aware of that, to deposit things, and to make the process more streamlined and easy to use. So some of our current and medium-term goals are to revise the procedures for journal platform. So we're using open journal systems, OJS, which is used by a lot of journal publishers in the library space. We're trying to make it easier for campus partners to use it, create our own web presence. I've been exploring a lot of faculty relationships for publishing faculty work and student work, and seeking funding. That's a fun thing that I've never done before. And we're doing a promotional campaigns just so people know us on campus, because we haven't really existed before. As I mentioned, funding. I've been working in publishing for about 20 years now, mostly in marketing and sales. So there's always the other side, getting the revenue out. So I'm pretty used to that. And this is different. So we're kind of pursuing a variety of funding models, I might say, including grants, foundation support, subventions, donors, possibly corporate donors. One thing I'm looking at doing, which I haven't really seen many university presses do, although I wouldn't say nobody's done it, but possibility of crowdfunding projects. So I have a project right now in peer review that I'm likely to do this to try to get, it's a kind of pre-marketing thing, where donate $20 and you'll get a free ebook, donate $30 and you'll get a free print book, $1,000 and the author will come have dinner with you, that kind of thing. And possibly down the road service fees, although I don't have any immediate plans for that. So I'm going to give it over to Charles here.